Your
No.
videos, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll stop my video because like the Wi-Fi is kind of being weird, and then
Okay.
I'll start it again later.
Okay.
That sounds fine. And you are now recording and on Facebook, so you're good to go.
Perfect. So just hello everyone. Thank you for coming to our last 7-8 Zoom session. I can't believe it's already ended. We had such a fun time doing all the earlier Zoom sessions, but this week, as our final presentation, Puri or Nethra will be discussing our topic. So if Nethra, you want to tell everyone what your topic is about?
Yeah, so hi guys, my name is Netra, and basically what this topic is about, we review graphing points on a coordinate plane because I assume that many people will already know how to do that. And then we go into learning how to calculate slope and what slope is. And then we go into slope intercept form, sorry, and we learn how to find the slope and the y-intercept. So I'll just share my screen. Okay. So can everyone see the presentation?
Yeah, I think you're at the beginning. Now we can go. You're at the
Okay,
beginning.
yeah. So this is, as I said before, graphing coordinates or points on a coordinate plane, slope, and many other things such as the slope-intercept form. So the first thing that is graphing on coordinate planes. So as the first statement has said, that you may already know how to do that, and it's very simple. So just a review for people who have the review, a coordinate plane has 4 quadrants, and it's basically like a C. That's how I learned it in school. So it's like if you start in quadrant one, sorry, quadrant one, then if you go to quadrant two, quadrant three, and quadrant four is basically like a C here. And when you graph on a coordinate plane, then you need the x and y coordinate of a point, and this is like how the point is described. And then the x coordinate is on the x-axis and the y is on the y-axis. So for example, say you have to graph 5, 9. So the x coordinate is 5 and the y-coordinate is 9. So I have already graphed this. So if you see here, this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. So if we go 5 here and then 6 up here, it's 6, then you can see that this point is 5, 6. So then, this is the main important part, is what is slope. So slope is a measurement of steepness. So basically what that means is that many times on a graph, you'll find lines. So I'll make a short little graph here. So this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis, and then many times you'll find a graph like, you'll find a line like this, or you'll find a line like this, or like this. So these three are different lines. So what that means is that this is a measure of steepness. So how steep is this line? So basically what that means is that by every increase in every increase of the y coordinate, how much does it go to the left or the right? So what is the change in y compared to the change in x? So basically what that means is that in this example, from point P to point Q, you're rising or you're increasing in the y-axis by this much, and then you're going to the right, you're running right this many units. So the formula of slope, which is m, is rise over run. So that basically is the y coordinate of the second point minus the y coordinate of the first point divided by the x coordinate of the second point, and then the minus the x coordinate of the first point. So does anyone have any questions about that? Okay, no questions, so I'll keep going. So now say we have to find slope of 2 examples. So I have the formula right here. if anyone needs to know the formula. So find the slope of 2 points. Point 1 is 4, 5, and point 2 is 8, 10. So basically what it is, first we have to know what y2, what y1, what is x2 and x1. So 10 right here, since this is the second point, y2 would be 10, and then x2 would be 8. And then since 4, 5 is the first point, then y1 will be 5, and then x1 will be 4. So since we have this now we can put in all the points and all the numbers. So for y2, then it should be 10 minus 5, because y2 minus y1, divided by x2 minus x1. So that's 8 minus 4. And you can see why, because the points are labeled here. So it's y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So then this is simple math. So then it would be 10 minus 5, which is 5, divided by 8 minus 4, which is 4. So the slope of this line is 5 over 4, 5/4. So now another example. The slope of 2 points, and the first point is 10, 9, and the second is 15, 17. So basically what we'll do, again, is that we'll label the y2, the y1, the x2, and the x1. So 17 is the y2, then the y1 is 9, the x2 is 15, and then the x1 is 10. So now we're just going to plug in the different numbers. So the first thing will be 17 minus 9, because of y2 minus y1, and then 15 minus 10, because x2 minus x1. So then if we do 17 minus 9, then it would be 8, divided by 15 minus 10, which will be 5. So the slope of this example is 8/5, or 8 over 5. So if these 2 points, if 10, 9 and 15, 17, let's just make a graph. Say that 10, 9 is right here, and then 15, 17 is like right here. So you'll have to go 8 spaces, 8 units up, and then 5 units to the right. That's basically what it means. And then let's keep going. So what is slope-intercept form? So slope-intercept form is the form to describe a line in a graph. So say you have your coordinate plane right here, and this is just in quadrant 1. I'm always going to do quadrant 1 just to make it simple. So then say your line is right here. So how would you describe this line? Like, say someone wants to know, how would you, they want to graph it on their own piece of paper. What information would you give for them to graph it? And the information that you'll give is the slope-intercept form. And there are 2 other forms that you could do, but this is like the simplest and the background information. So the formula of slope-intercept form is y mx plus b, where slope is m, so right here, this is slope as described here, and b is the y-intercept, and that is right here. So many of you may know that the y-intercept is basically where the line crosses the y-axis. So if you see this example, the line crosses the y-axis, it'll go down, let's draw that, is at the origin, or it's 0, 0. So the y-intercept is 0, 0. So how do you find the y-axis if you don't have a graph? So if you don't have a coordinate that has 0 in the x-coordinate, or you don't have the graph to show you that in this graph you can see, okay, at the origin the line crosses the y-axis. If you don't have those 2 information, or even one of those information, then you'll have to try to solve the y-intercept. So to solve the y-intercept, which is b, you have to use the slope-intercept formula, and you'll put in the slope and the x-coordinate of a point in place of the x, which is right here. I'll see if I can change the color. Yes. So this is the x point, and the y-coordinate in place of the y, which is right here. So now I'll go back to red. And then, for example, what is the y-intercept for this line if one point is 9, 8, and the slope is 2? So first we have this is the equation or the formula for finding the y-intercept. So basically, we know what m is, and m is 2, and we know that we're trying to find b, which is the y-intercept. We know x, which is 9, and we know y, which is 8. So now let's plug in that information. So now we know that 8 equals to slope times the x-coordinate plus something. And we're trying to find that something. So now this is basically an algebraic equation. So now you can solve it. So first you do 2 times 9, which is 18, plus b. Then you do subtract 18 twice from either side, and then negative 10 equals b. So the answer is negative 10 is the y-intercept, and the slope-intercept form is 2x minus y. And say that you plug in, to make sure that you're right, you can plug in this point for the x and the y. So let's just do that. So y equals to 8 equals to 2. And since we know the x-coordinate is 9, we'll plug that in, minus 10. So if we do this, it should equal to 8 on both sides. So then if you do 8 will stay here, and then if you do 18 minus 10, that in fact equals to 8. So we know that we are correct, and the slope, the y-intercept is negative 10. Does anyone have any questions in that? No. Okay, I'll keep going then. So now let's do another example for y-intercept. So the first step is to plug in all the information that we know. And what information do we know? We know the slope, which is m. We know the x-coordinate, which is 2. And we know the y-coordinate, which is 20. So let's just plug that in. So in this example, you have everything plugged in. Then you just solve this equation. So then you do 8 times 2, which is 16, plus b, minus 16 on each side. And then 4 equals to b. So then the answer is 4 is the y-intercept, and the slope-intercept form is y equals xy plus 4. So now say we're checking that. I'm going to change the color. So say we're checking. So then it would be 20 equals to 8, which is the slope, times 2, which is the x-coordinate, plus 4. So if we do this, then it will in fact equal to 20 on both sides, because 8 times 2 equals 16, plus 4 equals to 20. So we are correct. Okay. Does anyone have any questions in this? Anyone? Okay, then I won't check this answer. I'll just show the steps. So the first step is plugging everything in. Sorry. We have to do this. So we first have to find the slope and the y-intercept. So it's not like we just have the slope and we are trying to find the y-intercept. We have to find the slope and the y-intercept. So the way to do that is that first you have to see if any of them have 0 as the x-coordinate. Because if any of these 2 points have x equals to 0 in the coordinate, then we know the y-intercept. But since it's not, then we will first find the slope, which is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, which is this. So now I'll just plug it in. It's 11 minus 7 divided by 9 minus 6. So then that equals to 4 divided by 3. So this is our slope. Let me fix that. Come on. Okay. So we know that this is the slope. So now since we know that this is the slope, we'll try to find the y-intercept. So now we'll just take any of these two. You could take this point or you could take this point. So I'll just take 6, 7. So first I'll plug in 7 equals to the y. Then I'll do 4 divided by 3. And then it's 6, because that's the x coordinate, plus b, since we're trying to find a y-intercept. So now I'll just solve this. 7 equals to 24. 6 times 4 equals 24 divided by 3, which is 8, plus b. So then it would be, so then you'll do minus 8 here. So then that will equal to -1 equals b. And then if you have only one point, then you can check by plugging it in, like the entire formula. But say you don't, say you have 2 points, then you can just plug in the other point instead of 6, 7. So since I already used 6, 7, now I'll use 9, 11. So if I just right here, so 11, and I'm going to make this 11 equals to 4/3 times 9, which is the x coordinate, minus 1. So now 11 equals to 9 times 4 equals to 36 divided by 3, which is 12. 12 minus 1, which is equal to 11. So 11 equals to 12 minus 1. So we know that a y-intercept is -1, and the slope-intercept form is y equals to, first we need the slope, which is 4/3. So we're plugging in the slope. And then we place x, because that's any x coordinate, minus 1, because that's the y-intercept. So this is the slope-intercept form. Okay. Does anyone have any questions with this? Okay, no. So I'll just go through this really fast. So then since we know what the y2, what the y1, what the x2, and the x1 is, so I'll just plug in the information. So it's 7 minus 3 divided by 5 minus 0. So this is 4/5 is the slope. So since we have this, that we know the y-intercept, because when x is 0, so say you have the coordinate plane here, since we know that the x is 0, then the point is going to be right here. It's going to only be on the y-axis. So since we know that the line crosses the y-axis on 0, 3, then we do know the x-intercept, which is 3. So since it's 0, 3, we know that what the y-intercept is. So the slope-intercept form is y equals to 4/5 x plus 3. And I'm not going to solve and check it, but if we do 5/7, then it will in fact equal to this slope-intercept form is the correct answer, because on each side you'll have 7. So now so we can start some games now. So now the first game is the slope. So I'll just share my screen. I'll just share my screen right here. And then whoever has the right answer first can just put the answer in the chat. And Parisa and Carter, can you make sure that if anyone puts the answer, then you can just let me know?
Or we'll monitor the chat.
Okay, yeah. And Parisa, as we did last time with the points, then we could just do that this time too, to make it a little more interesting. So guys, whenever you know the answer, just put it in the chat. You can put the color or you can put the answer. So it really doesn't matter. And whoever gets it first will get a point. So oh, I didn't share yet. Wrong tab. Okay. So now we'll play the timer. Okay. So okay, so what is the slope? So first you have no slope, negative, 0, and positive. So what that means is that if it's going this way, if it's going from coordinate 3 to coordinate 1, then it's a positive slope because you're going up. But if it's going from coordinate 2 to coordinate 4, like this, then it's a negative because you're going down. And it's always left to right.
I think, Curry, I think people are already putting their answers in the chat box.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just like a regular quiz. So,
yeah,
I see in terms of everyone putting in the right answer or the answer, Gurjot won this question because the slope of this graph is positive, as Curry mentioned, since it's going up from 0.1 on the bottom to 0.2 on the top, and it's going from the left to the right in an upward fashion, it's a positive slope. So answer 4, as Gurjot said, is correct. That is the right answer. So good job, Gurjot.
And Prisha, you said 3. So the reason why it's not 3 is that if you in this example, you don't have to do that because you could just see it. But say you have 2 points and then you're trying to figure out what the slope is. So whenever it's a horizontal line, then you'll have 0. So if it's 2, 9 and 3, 9. So if those are the 2 points, then you'll get 0 as the slope because it's a horizontal line. But since this isn't a horizontal line and it's going from left to right, it's going up to down. Down to up, then it'll be positive. So find the slope of 7, 1 and negative 2, 1.
Slope formula is given on the left. So see if you can find the answer, and whoever gets the right answer by putting it in the chat box wins the question.
And remember that it's always it's not which point is first and which point is the second. What we have to know is that which point is to the left of the graph. So if one point is left to the graph, then that's the first point. And then the second point, which is right, and that'll be the second, if that makes sense.
Oh.
Okay.
So I see that a lot of people are saying that the point is Undefined.
The slope, you
That
mean.
is not the right answer, and we'll explain what an undefined slope really means. So
It
Prisha
says 3.
question correct. The answer is the third option, or 0, right?
And
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
yeah, I was just going to write it down. So should I just quickly write it down? Why
Yeah.
that answer is correct?
Of course. And then I can explain why it's not undefined.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just create a new slide and slideshow. Wait. So I'll share my presentation again, but I'll just do a random slide. Where is it? Okay.
And Netra, you can also share just a whiteboard if you don't want to create a new slide.
Well, I already created a new slide, so I think that this will just be easier.
Okay.
But next time I'll do that. So Parisa, what are the, wait, never mind. I'll probably have to see it myself. What are the 2 points? It's 7, 1. I'm just going to write it down so I don't forget. 7, 1, negative 2, 1. Okay. So now, can everyone see the presentation?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So now we have the 2 points which we have. It's 7, 1, 7, 1, and negative 2, 1. So if many of you may have noticed, I have said that it's not which point is first and which point is second. Like, just because this point is first doesn't mean that's the x1 and the y1. What you have to think about is that, say we have a graph, then let's like draw the points. So 7, 1, it would be somewhere right 7, 1. So it would be right here. Let's just imagine. And then negative 2, 1. So that's right about, let's say, here. So if we look left to right, this point is point 1, and then this point is point 2. So 7, 1 is actually point 2, because when we look left to right, then this point is first. So let's label it. So since this point is first, it's x1 right here. Negative 2 is x1, and y1 is 1, and then x2 is 7, and then y2 is 1. So now let's plug in all the information. So it's 1 minus 1 divided by 7 minus negative 2, which is basically adding. But I'll get on to that. So, okay, that's fine. Y minus 1 equals to 0 divided by 7 plus 2, which is 9. So now if you do 0 minus 9, you'll get 0. So that's why what Prisha said, that the slope is 0, that's correct. Because if you do all of this, if you just do the simple formula, then you'll find that the slope is 0. Parisa, do you want to say anything else?
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of them put the answer undefined. So just as an interesting note, whenever a slope would be undefined is when the denominator, or the bottom part of the fraction, equals 0. So say instead of minus 2, the other point of the x was 7. So it would be 7 minus 7 equals 0. So if you get an answer like 0 over 0, the answer is undefined, because whenever the denominator equals 0, then the answer is undefined. But when the numerator equals 0, obviously the answer will be 0, because anything divided by 0, anything 0 divided by a certain number is 0. But when 0 is in the denominator, it's undefined.
And I'm just going to write something else. This is what helped me know what is what. So the thing is Hoy bucks.
Oh.
Teresa, you know this. I don't know if you know, but this is what I learned to remember. So this basically means that if the line is horizontal, then yes, if it's horizontal, and if it's like this, it's horizontal, so the slope is 0, and it's and you're trying to, it's on the y-axis, which means you're like, that's like something else for the y-intercept and the x-intercept. But if it's vertical, wait, sorry, I drew that wrong. If it's horizontal like this, my bad, then the slope is 0 and the y is the y-intercept right here. But say it's vertical, which is right here, then the slope is undefined and you try to find the x-intercept, if that makes sense. So what Prisha said that it is it's 0. So let's just put that. So now what is the slope? So it's right here. So think about Hoy bucks, or just think about 2 points and do it.
Oh, I don't think Prisha can.
Are you back on the game?
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad.
Yeah, you gotta switch it back. I know, I forget sometimes too.
Yeah. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Sorry.
good. Yeah. I completely forgot that I had to change it.
So now, do we want them to answer this question?
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone, based on what Puri and I have mentioned, what is the slope? And we will wait until someone says the right answer.
I think someone said it.
Oh,
I see 3, 2, 4, and 1. So someone's gotta be right.
Yeah.
actually, 3 is, Prisha is correct. Yeah, she put 3 first. So
Yeah.
good job, Prisha. You got that correct. Sorry, I missed your answer. But the answer is 3 because the slope is 0. I know why a lot of you might have said no slope, which could have been interpreted as 0. But I would say the correct way to define the slope as it being a 0 slope. No slope would kind of refer to something that has like an undefined feature, as I mentioned earlier, like there isn't really a way you could graph the slope, but 0 is still an entity that you can put onto the slope. So if you see a flat line, then that's still a 0 slope. I would say no slope would be an example when you, actually, I don't know if this will come later on, but if you see like a vertical line and not a horizontal line, this would be a no slope because it's undefined. But if you see a horizontal line like this question, the slope is 0. So just as a quick thing out there. But good job, Prisha, for getting that correct. This was kind of a tricky question. So yeah.
Nice. And also no slope, you may not have known this yet, but if you find like a U on a graph, like when you're in Algebra 2 and like other advanced courses, and you'll find like a U on the graph. And if it's that, then you know that it's no slope because you can't figure out the slope. So that's also another thing. So 3 is right. Good job, Prisha. So now to find the slope of 1, 8 and 3, 12, sorry.
And whoever gets this right first gets the points. Oop. 1 second.
I'm trying to figure out the slope.
You have 4 in the chat.
Okay, so everyone is saying 4 in the chat. But I think Prisha, yeah, she just put the correct answer. The answer is actually 2, which is the first option, not 4 or the fourth option or half. Ultimately, if we calculate the slope with y2 and y1 and x2 and x1, right? The y coordinates of both of these points are 8, right, in the first point, and 12 in the second point. So when we do 12 minus 8, we get 4 as our numerator. So for the denominator, we need the x coordinates. So 3 minus 1 is 2. So 4 over 2 is 2, or as Prisha said, the first option, which is correct. So good job, Prisha. That was, I don't know why a lot of people might have put 2. Maybe they inverse the graph, I'm thinking. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, not x2 minus x1 over y2 minus y1, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm gonna click on that. So good job. So now this find the slope. So now in this you have 2 points. Well, you have a lot of points, but you can pick any of these 2 points and find the slope of it. And if anyone does anyone need to know what the formula is? Oh, people are putting in the chat.
Okay, I'm already seeing a lot of people putting in the right answers. So good job, Prisha. That was really quick. Wow. The answer is 3. Because when you do 10 minus 7 in the numerator and 4 minus 3 in the denominator, you get 3 over 1, which is 3. So the answer of the slope is 3. And you can do this with, find the slope with any of 2 points from this graph, like 3, 7 and 5, 13, or 3, 7 and 4, 10, maybe 5, 13 and 6, 16. So that is just some of the multiple ways you can calculate the slope given, I would say, several points. So good job, Prisha, for getting that correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna click on the answer. So as Prisha said, good job, Prisha. You got it right. So now this is the slope.
And if you know the answer, Camden, good job from Prisha, just answer as quick as you can in the chat box, because speed is also a factor too, and then you can get the question right.
Okay.
We have 2 and 1 in the chat.
So I think the answer is what? Well, I'll just wait until everyone can maybe finish, and then I'll say who got it. So Camden, if you maybe know the answer. Okay, so good job. He answered this correctly, and he got it right, and I'll explain why. Because the slope formula is given in the top left is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Look at the points -4, 5, and -4, 2. So the y coordinates, in this case, we can assign y2 as 2 and y1 as 5, right? Based on the points. And then we can assign wait, never mind.
Yeah, I think you're doing, wait, no. So it's 2 minus 5, and then -4, which is right here, minus -4. So that would be -3 divided by -4 plus 4, which is 0. So
actually,
sorry. Camden?
Yeah, actually, Camden got that right. Camden,
yeah.
Right. Good job, Camden. My bad. I actually myself, I just did in my head. I should have just done it on paper just to make sure.
Yeah.
But yes, undefined is the right answer. So good job. That was a tricky question. If you remember, if your denominator x2 minus x1 equals 0, it will always be undefined. So that's a really good job you did there, because that was kind of tricky.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if this will help you, but maybe it will. So say in these 2 points, what do you find similar? That the x coordinate in both points is -4. So if you know that in both points you have the x coordinate, which is the same, then it's going to be a vertical line, which means undefined. But say the y coordinate is the same. So say instead of the x coordinate being -4, the y coordinate is -4. Then if both y coordinates are the same, then that will mean it's a horizontal line and the slope is 0. If you guys remember it that way. Or you can just do the slope formula and you can figure that out. So the answer is undefined.
Yeah, good job. That was a good tip Puri mentioned.
Yeah. So what is the slope? Okay, so you have this line. I don't know if you can see it, but I have my cursor over it. So just try to figure it out.
And I'll just wait for everyone to answer, and then I'll say who got it right. So that Camden and Prisha have answered. So if Gurjap, you probably know the slope. And we can just see. Okay. So based on the answers, Camden and Gurjap got it correct, but Camden will get the point because he got that first. The slope is actually undefined, as you mentioned earlier, right? When you see a vertical line, right, that means that the slope is undefined. So maybe the denominator equals 0 in this instance, right? So the denominator, the x2 minus x1 equals 0. So as a result, it becomes a vertical line. But let's say you had a 0 slope, which was a question earlier, then you would have a horizontal line, right? So if you look at my camera, a vertical line like this is undefined, and a horizontal line always has a 0 slope. So good job, Camden, for remembering that and getting it correct right away. That was a tricky question, so yeah.
So Camden, it's undefined.
And then just as a side note, all three of you are like neck on neck with each other, so this is a pretty good game. Anyone could win.
Okay, now. Okay, I think, yeah. Okay, one more. Let's just wait for Prisha.
So all of you guys got this correct. And Puri, if you want to mention why it's negative.
Yeah. So as I said before, that whenever you look at a slope, you always, or even a point, you always look left to right. So since the left part is up and then it's going down, so the slope here is going to be negative. So that's why all of you got it correct, and I think Camden.
Can you give it to all of us?
We'll only give the point to Camden because he got it correct fast. Like for example, Prisha, you got it fast for the earlier questions. You got the answer in the fastest, so we gave you the point. But don't be discouraged, Prisha. You are tied with Camden for the lead, and Gurjap, you're also like right behind. So this could be anyone's game.
And there's still like 4 more questions. So you got this, guys.
Just answer as quick as you can, guys, if you know the answer.
And make sure it's right. Then don't put it. Make sure it's right.
So find the slope.
Okay. So next.
As Puri mentioned, you have multiple points, so you can choose any 2 points to find your slope. So we'll see. Actually, okay. So
Let me. What?
yeah, I think technically Prisha got the answer right because after that she put down. Yeah, Prisha, you
Keyboard
actually
isn't working somehow.
Yeah,
It keeps changing the numbers.
Okay, so your first answer was correct, not your last answer. One of your earlier answers was correct first. But I don't know about Camden, but in terms of the answers, Prisha got it correct right when she said the first option. The answer is -2/1, right? Because if you do something like, if you choose points -2, 0, and -1, -2, and calculate -2 minus 0 over -1 minus -2, or -1 plus 2, you get -2/1. And as a result, the answer is -2/1, or just -2. So technically, Prisha, your first answer, or not your first, your second answer that you put in was correct. So good job. But instead of putting random options, try actually calculating the answer too, so that you get it right.
Okay, so this is the point. So, I think, so I can zoom in. So if you just want to take a random point.
Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing a few answers in the group, in the chat, but I just want to tell you guys, look carefully at the line and see, first of all, you may have counted the right steps, but then it's not exactly the right answer. I mean, I don't want to give away the answer necessarily. I'm seeing Gurjap with their answers. It's really close, but look at the line again, I would say.
Think about it. From left to right, what direction is it going, if that makes sense? When you look left to right on a graph, what direction is the line pointing at?
Yes, so Gurjap technically is correct. Because put 3 over -2, or as you can just either say it's -3 over 2. Because if you remember, like we said in the earlier questions that you guys got right, this is a negative slope, right? Because it's higher in the first point and then lower in the second point. When you go from left to right, it goes from up to down. So as a result, the slope is -3 over 2, or you can just say 3 over -2, right? Because anything positive divided by negative is going to be a negative number. So the answer is -3 over 2, as Good Job said. That was
Nice.
kind of.
So now 11.
So if Prisha, Camden, and Good Job, if you want to use the formula on the left and then calculate the slope, go ahead, and then whoever gets the answer first, I'll give them the point. Well, the correct answer first, but yes. Okay, I just calculated my answer, but we'll see if. And then I really recommend if you guys have a paper or pencil with you, I'm pretty sure some of you do, because you could technically do this without a pencil, but like, you know.
Just to make sure you're right.
I wonder if this must be a tricky question.
I mean, you have to think about it.
Okay. Okay, so I see one person put in his answer, and if Gurjap and Prisha, you know the answer, feel free to put it in. I don't know, is Prisha still in here? I don't think Prisha is in here anymore. Oh God. I think, okay, so Gurjap Prisha may have left, but Camden and Gurjap both said the right answer. So since Camden got it first, he'll get the point. The answer is in fact -4 over 3, because if you do like the calculations, it's -5 minus 3, which is -8, and then at the bottom you get the answer. Okay, so I just noticed Prisha came back. Now you have to find the slope of this graph that Puri is pulling up. So if you know the answer, Puri, do you want to just
my computer accidentally died.
It's all right. You only missed one question. You're still like tying for the lead, Prisha, so you're all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the options. Okay, and then
Yeah. Wait, what, Parisa?
okay, so can you X out for a second, Puri, so I could see the answer? Sorry about that.
Wait, yeah, sorry. There.
So the answer is 4 over 5. But since Camden got that correct first, he will get the point because as you see, first of all, you can automatically eliminate choices 2 and 3 because it's not a negative slope, it's a positive slope. So now when you decide on the slope, you just do the rise. So counting the number of steps in the y-axis over run, counting the number of steps in the x-axis. So if you go up 4 steps and then you go right 5 steps. So as a result, the answer is 4 over 5. So Camden, you guys, I think Camden and Gurjap got that correct, but since Camden answered first, he got the point. Okay, so we finished the game. And if you guys want to this was a really, really close game. So
who's first place?
Winner is Gurjap, who got 3 right. The second place winner is Prisha, who got 5 right. And the first place winner is Camden, who got 6 right. It was a really close game, especially between Prisha and Camden. So good job for getting the questions right. Everyone got points, it seems like, so that's a really good thing. So that means you guys all kind of knew the content. But I'm glad we did this activity because there are a lot of concepts like the undefined slope, right, that we learn. Yeah. When you learn, so just as a quick note, whenever the denominator or x2 minus x1 equals 0, the slope is undefined. And that can be depicted by a vertical line on the graph like you guys saw. But a horizontal line means that the slope is 0. So good job, everyone. I know a few people are celebrating in the comments, but This was a really good game.
I learned this in Roblox. It's like a game, but like it's like games, but like if you search like are you a genius, and then it just teaches you things.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the Roblox, like in the comment section a few times. So I'll go look into that as well. But thank you for sharing it with everyone. And then
It's like a game for kids.
Okay.
So, do we have time for a quick graphing coordinates? Like, do you want to do that quick? Game?
Got like 3 minutes.
Okay, so let's see how many questions we can get answered in that.
Yeah.
So, just a graphing coordinate quizzes, so it shouldn't be that hard because you just have to graph it. But let's see if this quizzes is working. Maybe not, because it may take a long time to load. Wait, I think we're good. Come on. We may have like 2 minutes to play
Back to
the
share
game.
your screen.
Yeah, it's still loading. That's why I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, yeah, so I don't think it's working. So, wait, let me just try another thing really quickly. Okay, here it's working, so I can just do it in this. So let's just share my screen. Let's see if it's okay. Okay, so hide, and now just okay.
So if you know the answer, put it in the chat box like in the previous game.
So the vertical number line is called the So
3, 3, 3.
I think Prisha got it first.
No. Yeah, oh, sorry. Got it. Yes, the answer is the y-axis. I can't believe it. Sorry about that. Yeah, Prisha got the answer correct because, the vertical number line is the y-axis and the horizontal number line is the x-axis. So good job, Prisha, for getting that correct.
So this is done. So now let's just go on. So what is the origin? So the origin, okay, so that may be a little difficult, but let's see if anyone has gotten it correct. Okay,
I would give a hint. Look at the x-axis and y-axis and then determine from the answers what you think the origin is.
Okay, so I think
We did it at the same time.
Okay,
It got it right.
Close, but you both got it right. I don't know about Gurjap, but Camden and Prisha, since you both answered the correct answer, but Camden answered first, he is in fact correct. The answer is number 1 because the origin is where the x-axis and y-axis intersect. So if you pull the they intersect
hey guys.
0, 0. So that is the origin. The origin is 0, 0.
Hey guys, we're out of time today. I've got to hop on another meeting.
Okay.
yeah, I was about to say.
Okay, so no worries. We can just end this game, but Prisha and Camden, you guys were both tied anyway, so